Hello students, this is your English lesson. Today we are going to read Unit 5, Aamer's Café from Oxford Modern English, Book 7. So we start our lesson. This is page number 58. First of all, words to know. Adjacent, close to, lie near, adjoining, assumed, taken on, adopted, cobbled, made of cobblestone, rounded paving stones, mingled, mixed or came together, negotiations, discussions and agreements, protruding, thrusting or striking out of, pulsating, throbbing, expanding and contracting like a heartbeat. Rubble, a loose mass of fragments, rocks, masonry, etc. Strewn, spread, scattered. Subconscious, not wholly conscious, that which is only partly aware. Throng, a large crowd of people or other items. Venture, proceeded with something, even though there may have been danger. Now come to the reading. This is a short story with an unfortunate kick in the tail. You might like to try making up your own ending for it. The plot of land stood adjacent to the park. Nobody had thought of developing the place, because everyone had assumed it was part of the park. A building had once stood on the plot, but now there was only a heap of rubble. 3 or 4 walls still remained, outlining where rooms had once been, but it would only be a matter of time before these too crumbled and joined the large heaps of debris on the ground. Debris, scattered pieces of rubbish or remains. Bricks, stone slabs, rotten bits of wood with protruding nails, broken glass and twisted, rusting metal, along with heaps of smashed tiles, smashed, damaged, destroyed. Heaps of smashed tiles were widely strewn around the area, some partially and dangerously hidden and covered by a thick undergrowth of thorn shrubs and grasses. A large mulberry tree stood in what was at one time the front garden of the house, but this too had now been swallowed up and enveloped by creepers, shrouding, cover or envelope so as to conceal from view. Shrouding it and stifling its growth, making one feel oppressed. The overripe mulberries, too ripe. The overripe mulberries, unpicked and untasted, save by the birds, had fallen and rotten on the ground, blotch covered with spot or mark, blotching innumerable surfaces with dried red smears. Innumerable, too many to be counted. We can say countless. Smears damage the reputation of someone by false accusations. So there was a time when the boys of the neighborhood had climbed the branches of the mulberry and delighted in picking and savoring the fruit. Savor, taste and enjoy good food. But now no one ventured on to this uncared for site. What once had been a flourishing house and garden, pulsating, very exciting, with life and laughter, now stood empty, desolate, and forgotten. Desolate of a place uninhabited, and given an impression of bleak emptiness. Amir lived not far from this unusual sight in a house that he had acquired with hard earned money. He passed the site by the park every day on his way to work, riding his bicycle, or more often than not, pushing it ahead of him, for attached to it were two large baskets laden with his wares. He dealt in brass, and had done so for many years than he could count. The work hard bargaining. Bargaining means an agreement between parties settling what each shall give and take. When making his purchases, and more hard bargaining when selling to customers, with an eye for a good deal, had made him weary, and he now spent many hours of the day and night thinking about doing something that was a bit more settled. How pleasant it would be to have some employment that did not require many miles of footwork, he had often mused. I am going to open a cafe, Amir said to his wife abruptly, suddenly, and unexpectedly. Amir said to his wife abruptly one morning as he was preparing to set off for work. Yes, agreed Maham without further comment, for she had heard him voice his plans for the future on many occasions before. Nothing had ever come of these schemes of his, and she had always ridiculed them as being mere pipe dreams, ridiculed to make fun of in a cruel or harsh way. There you go again, she had said with good humor in days gone by. You and your grand schemes settle down? I would like to see it. There is no more chance of that than of my becoming president. There was no laughter now, simply a quiet resignation. She had long given up hope of a change in their circumstances. His extended absences from home had not suited either of them. I really mean it this time, he assured her, comprehending the disbelief in her eyes, comprehending, understanding, disbelief, inability to accept that something is true or real. I have already found a place to build it, my cafe, that is, and the money is in the bank. The deposit is secure. Deposit? A sum of money paid into a bank. Uh, and the deposit is secure at any rate. And what is more, the old lady has assured me that I can pay the rest in my own good time. You will see, we shall be more settled, more content, and much happier at long last. And we can both work as a team. Steady on, Amir, soothed Maham, suspecting to not trust that he was getting carried away by his fancies. Fancy? Feel a desire or liking for something. What place? What deposit? What lady? Amir did not look at her directly or give her an answer right away. He pulled a length of rope off a hook on the wall and used it to tie up one of the baskets that was in danger of coming away from the bicycle frame. That would not do at all, he thought to himself, as he heaved on the loose end of the rope and fastened it to the basket. to have all my wares tumbled down. Tumbled down? Of a building falling or fallen into ruin. Tumbled down accidentally because of one loose string. What thought? What place? Replied Aamer eventually, having taken his time in coming up with a satisfactory explanation. Why? The one on the corner, next to the park. You know? The one with the mulberry tree in it, where our boys used to play so long ago? I found out who the owner of the land is now, and I have agreed to buy it. I have been putting away a little money each week. 4 years, Maham. It is all agreed, so there is no use in trying to deter me from this. Deter? Discourage someone from doing something. The bank is going to lend me the money. The old lady has agreed to sell it to me. I shall start to clear the land on Saturday. Our cafe will not be a dream for much longer. Maham stood and gaped at him. Gaped to look in great surprise at someone or something. She was lost for words. She did not know whether to shout for joy or to weep. She did neither, but stood and stared blankly at him, stared to look fixedly at someone or something, trying to take in and make sense of all this news. I shall tell you all about it when I get back this evening, proposed Aamer in haste, as he shakily wheeled his bicycle out of the courtyard into the alley. So shakily in a way that involves someone shaking because of being weak and ill, etc. Alley, a narrow passageway between or behind buildings. And then, like a shadow under a fleeting cloud, he was gone. Aamer pushed his bicycle to the top of the cobbled area. Cobbled of an area or roadway paved with cobbles, and on to the main road. He did not stop there to mount the bicycle, climb up or go up, as he usually did, using the bench on the corner as a platform. Instead, he decided to take stroll past the vacant plot. Stroll past to walk about in a leisurely manner. Vacant, of a place empty, not occupied, so that he could take another long look at it. He had revealed his plans to his wife, revealed to make known, usually secret. At long last, and he now felt more comfortable within himself. It had taken a long time for him to do so, and it had been a strain keeping it a secret. He had not wanted to be put off his objective in any way. All those restless nights of planning and surmising would now come to an end. All the final negotiations, the process of discussing something with someone in order to reach an agreement with them, and visits to the bank could be undertaken with greater ease and peace of mind. He had come clean, she knew, and she would soon come round and help him in reaching this goal. He could now relax and dream some more about his cafe, his heart filled with excitement at the thought of how Maham would feel and how she would react when he told her that evening of the progress he had already made on the deal, and how together they would be the proud owners of the cafe, and how their circumstances would change for the better. As he wheeled his unsteady bicycle past the forlorn sight, forlorn, pitifully sad and lonely, Aamer saw in his mind what the cafe would look like. He could see himself standing outside the entrance, smiling. There would be no finer cafe anywhere in town. Maham was there too, somewhere in the background. She was busily arranging glistening glistening, shining with a sparkling light, white plates on a counter, and ladling steaming dal and chicken, ladling provided lavishly. Ladling steaming dal and chicken curry into tiny bowls. Another man, the chef, was removing hot golden naan from a glowing oven at the back. He was smiling too and seemed happy with his work. Two young boys, smartly attired in white shirts and black trousers, be dressed in clothes of a specified kind, were carrying trays laden with naan, laden with heavily loaded or weighed down trays laden with naan, rotis and overflowing bowls to the long tables at one end of the building, at which sat rows of eager diners. Sweat rolled off the boys' brows as they worked feverishly in an energetic manner, dodging to move or twist quickly aside, expertly amongst the throng of diners. Outside and all the way down the pavement, a raised path for pedestrians. There was a widening queue of expectant people waiting for tables in the cafe. Queue, a line of people or vehicles awaiting their turn, and expectant, having or showing excitement or feeling that something is about to happen. The noise of chatter and laughter filled the air, and Aamer beamed with pride as he welcomed customers old and new, young and ancient. So beamed with of a light shined brightly. The largest and shiniest neon signboard he had ever seen twinkled and glowed attractively high above the entrance. Aamer's Cafe, Aamer's Cafe, Aamer's Cafe. It blinked, and then further lighted words came on below it, one at a time, ever so slowly, which read, "The only place in town." The lights dimmed and blurred, unable to see or to be seen clearly, as Aamer's eyes filled with tears of joy, and the lights of the cafe merging in some incredible way, combined to form a single entity, and incredible, impossible to believe, extraordinary, we can say, became part of the real lights, the traffic lights ahead of him. This is a dream worth living for, thought Aamer as he trundled on, trundled of a person moved happily and slowly, pushing his bicycle ahead of him. This is a dream worth day. But the thought remained incomplete. Aamer did not see the truck or hear the screech of brakes, screech of a person or animal give a loud, harsh cry. They were only glints in his subconscious mind. Glints give out or reflect small flashes of light. Sights and sounds mingled and became one with the noise of the diners in Aamer's Cafe. Diners in Aamer's Cafe. The flashing neon lights shone brightly for a moment, flickered of light, shine unsteadily, very rapidly in brightness, and then went out completely. Blackness enveloped Aamer's world. Now come to the exercises. Answer the following questions. A. Why had the site not been developed? Answer. The site had not been developed because everyone had assumed it was part of the adjacent park. It belonged to an old lady who probably had no need for it. B. In what ways had the site been neglected? Answer. The site had been badly neglected. Where the house once stood, there was only a heap of rubble. There, 3 or 4 walls still remained. These too were in danger of crumbling. There were large heaps of debris on the ground, bricks, stones, slabs, rotten bits of wood with protruding nails, broken glass, and twisted rustling metal, along with heaps of smashed tiles, were widely strewn around the area, covered by a thick undergrowth of thorn shrubs and grasses. C. How did Aamer earn his livelihood? Answer. Aamer earned his livelihood by dealing in brass. His work involved hard bargaining and selling his wares, which he carried on his bicycle. D. How did Maham react when Aamer first told her his plans? Why? Answer. Maham's reaction was to say yes and offer no other comment. She had heard him voice his plans before, and these had usually come to nothing. She took what he said in good humor and laughed it off because she was resigned to this state of affairs. E. What were some of the things that Aamer had done to accomplish his dream? Answer. Aamer had found a place, the vacant plot, to build his cafe, and knew who the owner was. The money was in the bank. The deposit was secure. The owner had assured him that he could pay the rest in his own time. F. In what way did Aamer feel relieved and why? Answer. Aamer felt relieved that he had told his wife about his plans for the cafe. He had kept this to himself for a long time and had felt the strain, but he was now comfortable in himself because Maham could now help him achieve his goal. This question is more difficult. Discuss it first. G. Do you think Aamer was a dreamer or a practical man? Give reasons for your answer. The answer is Aamer was both a dreamer and a practical man. He had had many plans before and nothing had come of them. On his bicycle that morning he was still dreaming about what the cafe would become and how people would enjoy visiting it and eating there. On the other hand, he had gone about the business of finding the owner and securing the money to buy the property. So in this respect, he had been practical. 2. Select the best answer. A. The overripe mulberries, unpicked and untasted, save by the birds, had fallen and rotted on the ground. This means 1. That the birds did not eat the mulberries. 2. That only the birds did not eat the mulberries. 3. Even the birds did not eat the mulberries. 4. Only the birds ate the mulberries. So the correct answer is only the birds ate the mulberries. B. She had always ridiculed them as being mere pipe dreams. This means 1. She made fun of them because they were dreams about smoking a pipe. 2. She made fun of them because they were lengthy dreams. 3. She made fun of them because they were fanciful and unattainable dreams. 4. She made fun of them because they were unrealized dreams. The correct answer is she made fun of them because they were fanciful and unattainable dreams. 3. Answer the following with reference to context. A. Simply a quiet resignation. 1. About whom was this statement made? Answer. This statement was made about Maham, Aamer's wife. 2. In what ways had the subject shown resignation? Answer. Maham showed her resignation by not commenting or laughing at Aamer's comments because she had long given up hope of a change in their circumstances. 3. Is the sentence a complete sentence? Give a reason for your answer. The sentence is not a complete sentence because it does not have a subject. We do not know what has this resignation from the sentence. We know it is Maham because of the sentence that follows it. B. All the final negotiations and visits to the bank could be undertaken with greater ease and peace of mind. 1. About whom was this statement made? Answer. This statement was made about Aamer's dealings to acquire this property. 2. Why might all this now be possible? Answer. All this might now be possible because all the groundwork had already been done. Groundwork, finding out about the property, dealing with the owner and the bank, had already been done. And finally, Maham had been informed. 3. What were the reasons for further negotiations and visits to the bank? Answer. The reason for further negotiations and visit to the bank were for Aamer to finalize the deal and realize his goal of building a cafe. B. Working with words. Find these words in your dictionary and use them in sentences. A. Subscribe. The meaning is write one's name at the bottom of a document, make or promise a contribution. Engage to take a newspaper for a certain time. So the sentence is you can subscribe to the magazine for $30 a year. B. Suburb. The meaning is outlying district of a city. Sentence is he lives in the suburb of London and works in the city. C. Substitute. Meaning is make a person or thing take the place of an other. Sentence is I found someone to substitute for me in this project. D. Subsequent. The meaning is following an event. Sentence is subsequent to the 2005 earthquake, rebuilding the Swat Valley was a priority for government of Pakistan. E. Subdue. The meaning is bring into subjection, discipline, conquer. The sentence is the armed forces were finally able to subdue the rebel after a long period of struggle. F. Subordinate. The meaning is of minor importance, put into lower position. The sentence is one of the negative aspects of his personality is that he dislikes being in subordinate position. C. Learning about language. Comparison. Examine these sentences taken from the passage. Pay special attention to the adjectives which are highlighted. We shall be more settled and much happier at long last. There would be no finer cafe anywhere in town. The largest and shiniest neon signboard twinkled and glowed. Here are some more adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. Positive, hot; comparative, hotter; superlative, hottest. Positive, fair; comparative, fairer; superlative fairest, positive beautiful, comparative more beautiful, and superlative most beautiful. Most beautiful. We use the positive form when we are describing an object. A hot day, a wise person, a gigantic tower, a lively concert, etc. We use the comparative when we are comparing two things, two people. Yesterday was hotter than today. Tom is big, but Peter is bigger. We use the superlative for picking out the most extreme of three or more. Yesterday was the hottest day I have ever known. Mount Everest is the highest mountain peak in the world. For most short adjectives, we add er or est to form the comparative and the superlative. For some adjectives which are clumsy to pronounce, we use the words more or most. So here is the question. Write out the three forms of the following adjectives. Happy, happier, happiest. Talkative, more talkative, most talkative. Depressed, more depressed, most depressed. Quiet, quieter, quietest. Lonely, lonelier, loneliest. Few, fewer, fewest. Clever, cleverer, cleverest. 2. Explain why the following sentences are incorrect. A. Saima's hair was the most perfect in the world. Students, here most is not needed. There is no need of most. And perfect cannot be bettered. Perfect cannot be bettered here. B. The night was so dark, it was blacker than black. Students, cannot have anything blacker than black. Black is always black. C. The large diamond in our museum is the most unique in the world. Here, most is not needed. Most is not need because unique means the only one. So there is no need to add most here. D. The gas in the yellow beaker was more weightless than the gas in the blue one. Here in this sentence, we see weightless word, which means without weight. So there is no need to write weightless here. Add weightless here because gas is always weightless. E. His performance on the guitar was the most faultless I have ever heard. Again, most is not needed. Faultless means without fault. So there is no need to add most here. F. The principal punished the children for performing a most illegal act. Students, again most is not needed because illegal cannot be compared. We cannot have something more illegal or less illegal. Understand? Thanks for listening. For new videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like my videos, please share and like.